I'm waiting for the 1. I was like 2. I'm like, oh, okay.
Perhaps like.
Keeping that in now.
So I'm like counting down and I stop at 2.
Okay, that's fine if you stop at 2, but you have to tell me. You know what I mean? Because some people do like it's like the 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, and then 1, and then go. I'm like, okay. So I'm just like.
I'll count down.
Hi, my name is Stephen Rafferty, and you're watching These Are Questions. This is the interview show where I ask people questions about things, life, and such not. And today we have a very special guest as we're here in the Colab Studios here in Miami. He is a serial entrepreneur. He is a branding expert, and he is a multimedia, multifaceted personality. Please welcome Barion McQueen.
Barion McQueen. I love that intro. That might be the best intro I've gotten.
Thank you. It took me 6 seasons to get that.
And you just... Right off, how'd you remember all of that?
We can look at back in season 1, in the first episode, I had the intro right down because I do a lot of hosting and performance before, as for people who have watched the show. If you're already in season 6, you notice by now, but if you don't, that's okay. So I work on intros and hosting stuff all the time. So I'm like, okay, when I do the show for These Are Questions, I got to write down what I want to say, and that just stuck with me.
Well,
so,
I love it.
Wait till my second part.
Take that sound bite and use that for all my... when I come out on stage.
Yeah, please do. Go for it.
I signed an agreement already, so we good.
These Are Questions agreements. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. I really do appreciate it there. I'm going to get right to it, but before I get into the show itself, I need to explain the rules of These Are Questions.
Let's do it.
Barion, I'm going to ask you a series of questions going to be based around your career and aspirations, along with a mixture of questions that are borderline idiotic and, well, randomly stupid.
Okay.
Do you accept those terms?
I do. I need to write it down.
You can go for it right now.
I do.
Sign at the moment. Go for it. They do. And for proof, consent, because that's important here on the show.
Got to be in writing. Business rule 101.
Business 101. So great. So let me ask you, Barion, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
As you should, because these are questions. I don't know what I'm going to ask you. I don't know what I'm going to say. Anything can happen.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Internet, are you ready?
Are you ready?
I'm going to take it as a yes. Yes! A studio audience right there. Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. With that, let's begin. So, as mentioned in the amazing introduction, thank you, by the way, you're a multifaceted individual that has created and formed so many different projects. And for our viewers, I'm going to give a little bit of context. We met at a fashion show, at the Fort Lauderdale Fashion Show, earlier this year. Or no, actually, late last year. Late last year. I have to give you credit. To you and another photographer named Anthony, because when I came in, I never shot runway photos before. I never did any modeling shoots before. I was newer to photography. I have a background in multimedia and videography photography, which we can explain that later. But my point is that I have to thank you because you and Anthony and the guys that were helping me on that show showed me the ropes of how to shoot. So for that, I'm very grateful, and it opened up a lot of doors.
Fire.
I appreciate it. But I want to break it down within your various media entities. I want to know how and why you got into the media fields. I want you to tell me your story.
I used to be a rapper back in the day.
Yo, okay.
B to the Dot was my rap name. Because I was a hands-on rapper, I produced my own stuff. I engineered my own stuff. I shot my own music videos. I had a particular speed thing with me that I was very efficient when I did stuff, but I couldn't find people who were just as efficient. So when I came to Florida in 2013, I knew I was going to be retiring because I was like, yo, once I turn 30, I'm done with this rap shit. Like, I'll finally put an album out in stores, and now I'm just going to be behind the scenes doing music stuff. But I picked up a camera because I wanted to start shooting short films and music videos.
Okay.
So I got a GH3, was my first video camera, getting into the shooting music videos thing. And I got like my first music video gig, and the guy paid me $300. I never forget it. His name is a rapper by the name of Six Cardinal.
Ooh, that's a cool name.
He's from Lake Worth, I believe, that area.
Okay. Shout out to him. And
I was just hyped. Like I'm like, yo, got my first music video, a little $300 budget. But after I did his, I kept getting more. But I was in the $300, $500 range. And I'm like, yo, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
for $300 and $500. Like you editing, you got to do audio syncing, you got to chop, then you got to color grade. I'm like,
it's a lot.
It's too much. I'm like, yo, I'm like, you know what? Why don't I try photography? But I had bought all the wrong cameras for photo. So I had all of these film cameras, GH3, upgraded to the GH4. I got a G7 because the 4K was the big thing. But they sucked at taking pictures. So I'm like, I done spent all this money. I got screens and monitors and sliders and all of this stuff, and I'm over video. And I'm like, man, I got to pick either a Canon or a Nikon. These are the top guys. And for 6 months, I just researched which one I was going to get. And I got a Canon T6i was my first photography camera.
I've used that camera. It's
that
good.
camera has made me six figures. Entry level, kit lens, bro. So I don't get into the specifics of like you got to have this lens and that body, and I made plenty of money with an entry level DSLR, not even full frame. And with the photography, like I would go on Craigslist and I would put I'm offering free photo shoots to build my portfolio, and I got a lot of requests of just I guess nobody wanted to pay for photo shoots, right? So
you'd be surprised what people will do.
So I was like, oh man, this Craigslist thing. But if you don't know, Craigslist charges you $5 to do a posting.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So it was costing me to run the little ad, but it was helping me build my portfolio.
Yeah.
And I would say around my third shoot, I got published.
Yo, that's awesome.
Shout out to Lola Shell. She was like my first big model that I've ever shot in. And she was like, don't you worry about this. You just get me the images and I'm going to make it happen. And she just, with her connections, she like, yo, we published. And I'm like,
it's like amazing first time.
So
oh my
I'm
goodness,
like, man, this is only my third shoot. And then because my branding and marketing is really well, it was really easy for me to get into the photography space, right? Like it's millions of like I was never scared to reach out. I would reach out to a model that had 2 million followers and say, hey, can I shoot you?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, no, like who are you? Like, I'm like, all right, cool. And I just go to the next one. I started up really high, and some laughed me out the room, and now I won't shoot with them to this day. But
you gotta start somewhere.
I built the brand. My around my second shoot, it was a girl named Leslie Calzada.
Okay.
And she was Miss Teen Mexico.
Okay.
That shoot changed everything for me because I didn't know who she was. We just collaborated on a shoot. She had a dress she wanted to shoot. We shot it downtown City Place in West Palm, and I didn't know she was Miss Teen Mexico City. So she introduced me to a whole new audience of the Mexican community. So just from me doing a free photo shoot with her, I was booked for quinces for the whole year, bro.
That's good.
I would do the quince shoot of the dress, and then I would do the actual quince event. So I turned into like the quince guy, like, and couldn't even speak to the client, like, because I didn't speak Spanish. But that's how I kind of got my feet wet in the photography space. And then from there, it was just like, all right, now I've grown a brand that like people like now people gonna pay me for this, but I shot a lot of stuff for free before I made money.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. Like, and a lot of individuals in the creative spaces are like, especially when they started, like, I gotta get paid, I gotta get that. Hold your horses. You got to pay a little bit of dues. I'm not saying not to get paid, but like when you're starting out, like just get yourself out there, get yourself going, make your relationships, build from that.
Facts.
And then the money, the finances, and the greater opportunities will come.
100%.
I can tell you that right off the bat.
100%.
So
you got to get the reps in.
absolutely. Like I can't.
I still do stuff for free now.
Same here. Sometimes, it depends. Obviously, there's got to be a value if I'm going to be doing something that's free.
Of course.
There's nothing wrong with doing free because sometimes you can do for, charity, do for donations. That's great. But if you are not doing that for those reasons, there should be some mutual benefit for everybody involved.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So very cool. Thank you for explaining your backstory a little bit there. And, like I mentioned, you work on various projects there. And one of them is, speaking of podcasting, your podcast, Everyday Game Changers, which I listened to a few episodes. It's pretty good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Check it out. Shout out after this episode, go to his podcast.
Check it out.
Plugging it in right there. You interview business leaders and entrepreneurs and a bunch of different media professionals. What's the biggest takeaway from doing a podcast of that nature?
I think all of this stuff is intimidating to people.
Okay.
So by the time people get here to interview me or interview with me, some of them will just break down and be like, man, I was almost going to cancel because I was so nervous.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And it's like, I've had people need to get drunk just to get their nerves out. I've had Darenian angels sitting here doing breathing exercises with people. So it's really, I think when people sign up for it and they haven't been trained or they haven't done enough podcasts, all of this stuff is intimidating. Lights, and sometimes there's an audience and a lot of people, and then you don't want to look crazy and you don't want to say the wrong thing. So my job as a host is to make them feel as comfortable to give me the best interview, right?
Absolutely,
So it's like a tennis match when I'm having guests, right? I got to share a little bit of me to get them comfortable to share with me. So it's a skill set that I have that I don't know that I have until I actually watch it back. And I'm like, oh man, this is why people feel comfortable. And now people come on my podcast and they take their shoes off and it's like home now.
Yeah,
So,
it's like a homebody.
But that's the thing, man. I think everybody can do it. I just think it's intimidating, like this stuff, all of these big lights, and when that record button is flashing, it's different. Now it's official.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're in like a big studio set and you, like you said, you've never been necessarily trained or you haven't had the reps in that, it can be jarring at first. Even if it's like a new studio, someone that's experienced. Like I'm gonna plug in Collab for a second here. The first time I shot here for D and Angel's episode. Not that I was impressed with it, but like it was a different studio. So like I got to get accustomed to it. You know what I mean? And when it's your first time, it's like, I don't know what's going on. Where do I need to go? You know, that kind of thing. So that's funny that you mentioned that. I'm a big believer in having comfortable guests that want to be here because that's going to bring in a better episode
100%.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like I hate that I can't do every episode at Collab Studios, right?
Yeah.
But I have some guests that just because of the schedules, like I have to do virtual, right?
Sure.
And it's just like, oh, I wish I could go to them or if they could come here. Like I had the Labont brothers and they're like the first twins on HGTV.
Okay.
But they're the black twins.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, these are the guys to compete with the Property Brothers.
Yeah.
But I mean, because of my platform, it allows me to just get those guests and they're like, oh man, we would love to come on Everyday Game Changer. So I've had musicians, I've had business owners, I've had TV stars, and so I'm grateful. But the Everyday Game Changers is really about highlighting everyday people that do some great things. Maybe you heard about them, maybe you haven't. And that's, for me, it's good to hear other people's stories. I'm in front of camera so much that it allows me to step back and just be a fan.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have the similar vein in terms of our podcasting abilities here because we both interview various guests in the medias and art industries. The only real difference is that I ask more stupid questions. It's more comedic in that sense, which leads to my next question. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I want you to choose one. Choose which is better. Would you rather be a space pirate or an aquatic rock star?
A space pirate or an aquatic rock star?
That means that was a good one because I made you think.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, when I think pirate, I'm thinking those different kind of pirates, like that come and really take over the ship. You feel me? Like,
well, they take over spaceships probably.
Yeah,
you know?
So I think I feel more comfortable in water than in space. So I'm gonna go with the aquatic rock star.
Aquatic rock star. Okay.
Yeah.
What would be your rock star name?
My rock star name would be.
Because you had a rapper name.
Yeah, I had a rapper name.
Wait, what's your rock star name?
Let me think.
What's your aquatic rock star name? No pressure. Okay, it's a little bit of pressure.
C. Van Halen.
Oh, yo, can we trademark that? Can we look that up real quick?
C. Van Halen would be my rock star name underwater.
Let's go.
That's
okay,
it.
We got to look up in the copyright offices now and get that trademarked.
C. Van Halen.
C. Van Halen. Well, I like it there. And I know that you've traveled to a lot of different places there, and you've traveled around the world. I want to ask you this question. Have you ever had a Subway sandwich in an actual Subway?
I actually do not condone eating Subway.
Oh, at all? Okay.
At all.
Okay.
If I would get anything from Subway, it would be potato chips and a
Okay.
drink. I refuse to eat Subway.
Okay.
So I have not eaten Subway in a Subway.
Okay, not yet. You never know. Could be an emergency.
No, I have not eaten Subway.
There could be a guy in the New York streets, like a hot dog vendor, but it's actually just vending Subway sandwiches.
Could be.
Yeah, you might be in a rush for like a shoot or whatever, and you got to get to Manhattan or something like that. You got to just saying.
When it comes to food,
You're particular?
I wouldn't say I'm bougie. I'm very particular.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Like not everyone
when
likes Subway.
Chipotle came out and told me they do clone meat.
See, okay, all right, I'm gonna be salty. No, I agree with you with Chipotle. Like I love good Mexican food. I love good Tex-Mex, but like Chipotle, like it's just a nicer Taco Bell. I'm sorry. Ugh. I'm sorry.
And you would never catch me step foot in Taco Bell.
I mean, if you got to work the next night, I don't recommend going to Taco Bell. I'll just say that, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to ruin sponsors because you never know. I might have people from Chipotle or Taco Bell.
Bashing all the restaurants, right? Shout out to Red Lobster's biscuits.
Yo, Red Lobster's biscuits though. Can I get the Cheddar Bay biscuits as a sponsor?
But their seafood.
Oh, come on. We got to get the biscuits, though. Their seafood's amazing.
I go just
along
for
with the biscuits.
I go just for the biscuits.
Okay.
Just for the biscuits.
Just for the biscuits.
I'm probably bougie. Probably restaurants probably hate me, yo. I'm so bougie. I just put on my threads the other day, where in South Florida can I get the most authentic Mexican food? And I start holding people accountable. I'm like, okay, you putting this in writing, right? Everybody tell me I need to go to Homestead.
I was gonna say but I don't
have a flea market spot in Homestead.
There's a few spots. See, I don't want to give you a good recommendation just yet because I have to think about this. You know what I mean? Because I'm like particular.
And this is why I want to say, when I say authentic Mexican food, I don't only mean tacos.
No, it's got to be everything.
And people think when I say Mexican, I'm talking tacos. It's like, no, I'm not just talking tacos. I'm talking about the rice. I'm talking about the beans. I'm talking about the flan. I'm talking about all of the Mexican cuisine. Right?
Yeah, authentic.
Tacos is tacos.
Yeah.
Of course, Mexicans gonna have the best tacos, but I'm talking Mexican overall food. Okay. I want the huevos con chorizo. I want all of that vibes, right? So give me the real Mexican food. So I have not found. There's one place that I recommend. Okay. But it's all the way in West Palm Beach. Okay. Called Torero's Mexican.
I've heard of it, but I haven't tried it.
So somebody on Threads told me they opened up a location in Coconut Creek.
Oh, that's okay.
So I was like, I gotta check it out and see if it's as close to the original that I'm used to. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. I love this. This is great. I'm learning so much about you.
I'm a food guy, man. Seriously.
I'm a food guy myself. It's like, who doesn't like good food?
Can I ask you a serious question as food?
Yeah, here you go. Here's the folder. All right, reverse. Welcome to these are Baron's questions.
And you are now tuned into another episode of These Are Questions by your guest co-host Barion McQueen. Okay. My guest here, Stephen Rafferty, I wanted to turn the tables on him. Mm-hmm. What is American cuisine?
Okay. Like define that or like...
Define that, right? I have this question because what is American food? I feel like America steals from every other culture that what is actually American?
Well, I was gonna say burgers and hot dogs, but isn't burgers just from Germany,
it's
right?
German. It's all
German. Same with hot dogs. Pizza's Italian. Oh God. Ice cream's not an American thing either.
It's like, what's American cuisine?
That's a good question. That was a good one. Oh man. I actually agree with you. Like American cuisine is kind of a hodgepodge of everything. Now that I'm thinking about it, all those items I just listed are from other origins
everywhere else.
But it makes sense though because immigrants, all came to America. So like in various forms. So like they kind of made their own traditional meals from their countries and brought it here. Okay. So that is a good question.
Somebody, I always ask my wife. I'm like, yo, people always think America's so great. What's actual American food? And then we started going through the like, okay, it's not hot dogs, that's Germany, and it's not burgers, and it's not French fries, and
it's not chicken. It's not. No.
It's like, what is it? I'm like,
apple pie, or is that Dutch?
It's probably Dutch, I believe.
I gotta look that up.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I gotta think about. That's the one thing I can think. Maybe apple pie.
Apple pie, maybe, or something with mayo.
But mayo is mayo from America? Can I Google? I gotta Google that. We'll Google
Where's
it.
quiche from? Oh, you know what's American? Freaking hash brown casserole.
Hash brown casserole?
Or green bean some kind. That sounds American. One of those casseroles that nobody will eat in any other country.
I don't
We gotta think about that.
We gotta think about that.
In the comments, please.
Yes.
If you can tell us what is America. Nobody's been able to answer this question for me.
It's a good question. That's a good. Can we save that one in your back pocket there?
All right, I'm done.
No, that was good. That was a good segue. I love that there. Let me ask you. This is another choose question, but this is a question that I'm asking all my guests on season 6 of These Are Questions, and the question I want to ask you is: choose a team, Team Alpha or Team Omega.
I'm an alpha guy.
You're an alpha guy.
Yeah,
okay.
I just big on the leadership aspect. You know, every term around alpha, even if you watch The Walking Dead, Alpha was she was a female too, but she was the leader. So I'm gonna have to go with Alpha. Okay,
good choice, good reason. I like it. I like it. I want you to remember that for the end of the season because it's gonna play something later on. I can't tell you what, but it's gonna play on it later.
Got it.
Okay, so just remember that. Just remember, you picked your team, so just
I'll pick my team.
You picked your team. All right, cool. And it kind of segues a little bit too because I also asked in Collab Studios, I asked Angel and D Durania, I asked them that same question, but I wanted to also ask another question, which I asked them to ask you, and that question is about Save the Creatives, which is your nonprofit organization helping various media professionals, specifically in photography, to showcase their skills and get comfortable with their tools and getting them used to working in different types of shoots. I would love for you to explain more about it and get your take on your intentions of the nonprofit organization and like what you want to do with it moving into the future.
I want Save the Creatives to be the YMCA for creatives.
Okay.
If you go to any YMCA, they do not offer any programs or anything for creatives. If you want to swim, you can swim. You want to do sports, yoga, pole dancing, anything else you can do at the Y. They do not offer art classes. They do not offer photography. They do not offer music recording. They don't offer anything for the creatives to create.
Yeah.
Save the Creatives will be the YMCA for creatives. So my goal is to buy my own building. And I want the 3rd floor to be podcast studios and the 2nd floor to be recording studios and the ground floor to be photography. And that's the goal. Yeah. I've made a lot of money doing various businesses, but I'm passionate about helping creatives. So I was on a yacht party yesterday and we was in these groups of all these entrepreneurs and everybody went through and was telling their businesses, and then a guy says to me, he was like a stunt coordinator, and he says to me, out of all of those businesses, which one are you passionate about? And I was like, I'm actually passionate about the one I didn't even bring up was my nonprofit.
That's funny.
And he was, and then we just went into it, and I'm just like, look, like that's what I want to do, because I learned everything from YouTube when it came to this photography space. Yeah. Shout out Jessica Whitaker, Jessica Cabesi, Irene Rudnick. These were all females, actually, that I was watching on YouTube that had the best work. And I was just, like, studying them. Like, okay, how do I do my settings right? What does this ISO mean? What does this f-stop mean? It was all foreign to me. I shot everything on auto. So it was just like that group of female photographers really birthed Da Vinci from a photography standpoint. But it was YouTube University, bro. So I wanted to be more hands-on with Save the Creatives, right? Most people that do photography, they use the term, oh, man, I'm a natural light shooter. What
does it even mean? What is a natural light shooter?
It means you use the sun.
Oh, I know that, but it's just like, what a weird flex to have.
Yeah, so what I would say is, so your ass don't know how to use lights.
Yeah. So that's immediately what I thought about. You know what I mean? Like,
but I was that photographer. I did not know how to use any of this stuff. So I would just be like, oh man, I'm a natural light shooter. I like to be outside. The sun is free.
Yeah, of course.
Rent a studio. I can go on location. And I built my brand off being a natural light studio until a guy named Khalil Dane changed everything for me. He had a lighting class at Vision House where he was teaching lighting. And I literally went to that, and the very first pictures that I took with flash and lighting, he had it already dialed in, and I just had to take the picture, and it was like, wow, that's my shot. That's my first lighting shot. And I still get booked from that one lighting class, the pictures that I posted.
Wow, that's good.
Because people seen those pictures, and they're like, oh, man, I want to book you for something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, little do they know, hopefully Khalil's around to help me get those
Get the
settings
settings together. Yeah.
when I get booked. And it was just like, you know what? I have to do this for other people because somebody did this for me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the birth of what Save the Creatives is. So I don't want people to think that Save the Creatives is a photographer only thing. Yeah. We're starting there because that's how I started. But I still have music background too. So I want to tap the musicians, and I still can paint. So I want to get the artists, and I still design a sustainable clothing line. So I want to get the designers. So everything that I do, I'm soup, a gumbo of all of these creative fields. Eventually that will be Save the Creatives. We're just starting at photography now.
So you're like a multimedia, like studio house for creatives of all facets.
You just come. Get you a little membership and say, hey, I need 2 hours of studio time. All right, well, it's free. Come on and do your song. So, like, imagine we be the first nonprofit record label to break an artist.
That'd be wild. Oh,
to show record labels that you can run a record label and be a nonprofit at the same time. It doesn't exist.
That would, yeah.
So that's the bigger goals.
Okay, well, good goals. It's gonna happen. We're manifesting it, and like
Facts.
we have a track record here on These Are Questions. Like people say stuff on this show, and it has happened.
Yes.
And this had happened on the show, but there was a model. I'm not gonna name the model, but she knows who she is, only because of like privacy and stuff. But she was on a runway earlier this week for Miami Swim Week, which is when we're recording this episode. And I told her when I met her a couple weeks ago, I said, "You're gonna get a runway shoot. The way you're walking, the way you're doing it." And she's like, "Steven, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to." Like, no, you're going to get it. Watch. And then I saw her, took the shots, and I texted her. I'm like, see? Proof.
That's fire.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Write it down, make it plain. That's what the Bible says.
That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens. So let me ask you, can King James beat LeBron James in a game of Yahtzee?
Can King James beat
Yes.
LeBron James in a game of Yahtzee?
Yes. King James is the historical leader.
I'm going to go with King James will crush LeBron James in a game of Yahtzee.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
I put $50 on it.
$50 on it. Okay.
That King James.
We gotta bring him back from the dead to make that happen.
Less.
But
I will gamble $50 on King James over LeBron James any day.
Okay. LeBron James can't complain, so like, nah. Oh,
I'm with it.
Like,
King James for the win.
Okay.
Gotta go with the original.
Oh God, amazing. The original James.
The original James.
The OG James.
There you go. Pay homage.
Since someone that's been in media and been in the industry for such a long period of time and had a very interesting and unique career, where do you think the media this is my stop to be like, okay, the show kind of messes up and stuff like that. That's me messing up on my shot. It's even funnier because it's kind of show, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's been a long day. Where do you think the media industry is going to evolve in the next 5 years? Where do you think it's going to go?
Well, I think what we're seeing now with AI and all of these new tools, the problem I see with, like, let's say a photographer, for example. I feel like other than a photographer taking pictures for their personal portfolio or for their client, photographers lack the opportunities to publish their stuff to the world. So for me having platforms like South Florida Digest and Da Vinci Magazine is deeper than you just took pictures. It's like, how can we get eyeballs and credit you as a photojournalist? Because that's basically what you're doing. When you're going to events, you're doing photojournalism, right? That's a career in that. So if you look at any news, I get hit all the time by, they call them stringers, right? So the stringers hub will hit me up and say, hey, Barion, we noticed there was a big flood thing going on in Fort Lauderdale. Could you go and get us some photos of that for us to write a piece for ABC News so we can cover it? This is a whole industry of photojournalism that nobody talks about. And I'm just like, yo, they pay really well to just get footage. All the stuff you see on the news and on the news' social media, a lot of that is user-generated content.
Yeah.
When you see Only in Dade's Instagram, that's all submitted through users, and these people get tons of traffic. So I always encourage photographers to like, don't just limit yourself that you're a photographer. Your work can be published in other places other than just magazines. You can be in the newspapers. You can be on commercials. You can be on all of these different avenues, but you need a publication to get it out that you do. I get booked from people just seeing my credit on an article. Oh, like that was the guy that took the picture for that article, the featured image, right?
Yeah.
So it's that thing. I think media is changing, but I just think the information's not out there. I feel like the media industry is very, you got to know somebody to know somebody. And then if you can get in, we'll let you in, but don't be bringing no extras with you type.
Yeah, well, that's been like that it's been like that for a minute, you know, and it's probably going to have some level of that. I think now the entry point is changed a lot. Not going to toot my own horn here, but when I started as a YouTuber, and we're going to save this a little bit of information for when we do our cross collaboration, spoilers for later, but I started as a YouTuber, and like I opened the door for myself independently to do stuff. I think the barrier of entry is easier than ever, because like you could just make a video and boom, and like takes one photo, one video, one clip, whatever. But I think the challenge is that everyone has the same playing field in the sense that like they can all do the same thing. So all 100%. The content, all the connections, everything's kind of all over the place. It's like a mad dash. It's getting more and more hectic, in my opinion.
So think about this. This is where I see the future of media going. Think about when you watch the news and you see that guy and that lady at the news anchor desk doing news. Yeah. Imagine you get rid of those people and you just have AI generated anchors.
Yeah, that seems like it's leading to something like that, which that could be.
They will always be perfect. They will not mess up. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, if I just create William Livingston, news reporter for Channel 6, and I put him next to Shirley Livingston, and she does sports and he does what's going on, and I use 11 Labs and get the audio, and I got this AI looking like a regular human, well, there goes the news anchor's job.
Yeah, the computer.
As the producer, you ain't got to produce. You don't have to deal with Mr. Livingston is going through a divorce and it's showing on camera when he comes to work. That's the future. Everybody can be replaced by robots.
Yeah, even us on the show. We could be robots right now. We don't even know.
I've already cloned me.
You already cloned you? Okay.
You'll see a YouTube video of a clone Barion McQueen.
Oh my!
Giving the same value. I'm still trying to tweak the voice because I'm still a little ghetto, so it's it's hard to ghetto up AI.
Maybe you can tap into that market, like ghetto voice AI.
I need to open up the slang AI because my version of AI is what I would sound like if I was very articulate, very well spoken. I thought I was very well spoken until I heard the AI version of me, and I'm like, I got a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just saying words like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It sounds ghetto, but when the AI says it, it's very professional.
It's professional, it's clear, it's concise, it's crisp, it's communicated.
So it's coming soon, man. Baron.ai.ghetto.
It's coming. Let's go.
Ghetto AI.
Got to tap into a market somehow.
Yeah, man. That's the only tweak that I'm having cloning myself. It's not, it done got enough hood in it yet.
Okay. That could be the tagline. There you go.
Put some hood in it.
Let's go. I got two more questions to ask you here on These Are Questions, and I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. I really do. I want to focus one question on branding, and this particular question is, what's the ultimate piece of branding advice you can give to the viewers and listeners here on These Are Questions?
The most important advice is that whatever camera I'm looking at, everybody is a brand. What people say about you when you leave the room is a direct reflection of what your brand is.
That's good.
So when you leave the room and people say, oh man, she's always late, she's not professional, she dresses too skimpy, everything you do is a direct reflection of how your personal brand is, how people perceive you, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't want people to perceive you in a certain type of way, then you need to take the time to perfect your personal brand so that the image that you portray matches what you want people to say about you. So I think people think just branding is just for businesses and startups and no, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
What is your story? Who are you? What do you do? And what do you want people to say about you? Whether you want to leave a legacy or not. When you leave the room, what do they say? I would hope when I leave the room, people would say, oh, Barion, he's a branding guy. He's good at marketing, whatever.
Yeah.
If anything that comes out of somebody's mouth is a direct conflict with what I think my personal brand is, then I'm doing a bad job at doing my narrative, right? So that's the biggest thing I would encourage people, that we are all brands. So be comfortable in what you want your brand to be and be vocal in what you want your brand to be. Because if you don't tell your story, people will tell your story for you.
Yeah, and you may not want that story to be told that way.
It might not be the story you want told about you. So that's my piece of advice.
Oh, I like that. Good advice. Good stuff. Good stuff. This has been a great interview, and these are questions. But I have one more question to ask you.
Okay.
And you're going to have the advantage because you were formerly a rapper.
Okay.
I would like for you to name me 20 different rappers.
20 different ones?
Yes.
In no particular order?
No particular order. Just name me 20 different.
Well, we got to start with Jay-Z.
Okay, that's one. I'm going to count it now. I'm going to count it.
All right.
here.
Jay-Z.
Okay.
Tupac.
Okay.
Biggie.
There you go.
Busta Rhymes. Eminem.
Yeah.
Jadakiss.
I was just listening to him.
Rick Ross.
Yep.
T.I. Ludacris.
Ooh, Luda.
Young Jeezy.
It's 10. Halfway.
Right, we halfway there. Then I gotta go J. Cole.
Okay.
Kendrick.
Okay.
Wale.
Yeah.
Redman and Method Man. So that's 2.
That's
Medman.
So 5 more. Men. Is that the long lost brother?
Yeah. Man, there's so many. I gotta go with the greats, man. KRS-One.
Okay.
Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
LL Cool J.
There you go.
Big Pun.
Okay, one more.
Fat Joe.
I
man.
got 20 right there.
Come on, man. I could do 100.
There you go. Now you said it. Let's go.
I could do 100. So if you did not make the list, you need to work on your personal brand.
Ooh. Barion, thank you so much for being a part of These Are Questions.
I love it.
Thank you.
This is my kind of vibe, man.
That's the vibe I try to do,
I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. For those that are watching and listening, we appreciate you watching and listening to the episode. It's available on youtube.com if you're watching it, or on Spotify, or any form of podcasting that you listen to. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever you want to listen to, whatever makes you comfortable. So that's what we're here on These Are Questions. Episodes are coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as we're going into the season throughout the month of August. So stay tuned for more. And with that, all I have to say is that you have been watching/listening to These Are Questions. Good night, everyone. Or good morning. Or good afternoon. I don't know when you're watching this. You could be watching this at 6:30 p.m. on like a Tuesday night. I don't know. Even though it came out probably on a Wednesday. Or maybe it came on a Saturday. And he's just laughing because he's just like, Steven, cut the intro. And then like the people in the back are just like, cut the intro. We had to get this done. Like,
Did you cut, D?
No, don't cut. No, I'm going to keep going. Keep going until they kick me out. It could be watching this at like 3:42 in the morning in like, I don't know, like Hong Kong or something. I don't know. Or maybe in like Japan. Or maybe in like Australia. I don't know.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why These Are Questions?
Because it was a really simple name and like I can get away with it legally.
Easy enough.
It's my talk show. I always wanted to have a form of a talk show, and here we are. So I didn't want a fancy name. Something simple. You remember it. I remember it. The people in the back remember it. So, These Are Questions.
These Are Questions.
That's right. Alrighty. And that's it. Now we'll cut.